In 1977, a small coin quietly entered circulation in South Africa, carrying with it no sense of importance, no sign that it would ever be remembered, and certainly no hint that one day it would become the center of fascination for collectors and treasure hunters around the world. The 2-cent coin was simple, almost forgettable at first glance. It was the kind of coin people dropped into pockets without a second thought, used in everyday purchases, and often left behind in drawers or lost between couch cushions. It represented routine, ordinary life, and nothing more. But history has a strange way of transforming the ordinary into something extraordinary. To the time of its release, the coin was produced in large numbers to meet the needs of a functioning economy. Its purpose was practical, not symbolic. It helped facilitate transactions, making it easier for people to exchange goods and services in a structured monetary system. The design was modest, reflecting the style and priorities of the era. It wasn't flashy or complex, but it held a quiet elegance, with details that only those paying close attention would truly appreciate. Over the years, as inflation changed the value of money and smaller denominations became less useful, coins like the 2 cents slowly began to disappear from daily use. People stopped carrying them, shops stopped needing them, and eventually they were pushed out of circulation altogether. What was once common started to become rare, not because it was designed that way, but because time naturally removed it from everyday life. And that's where the story begins to change. As decades passed, collectors started taking an interest in coins that had faded from circulation. They searched for pieces that told a story, coins that represented a moment in time. The 1977 2-cent coin became one of those pieces. At first, it was simply collected as part of a complete set, valued for its place in history rather than its rarity. But as more people began examining these coins closely, something unexpected started to emerge. Not all coins were exactly the same. Tiny differences, almost invisible to the untrained eye, began to surface. Slight variations in the minting process, differences in alignment, subtle changes in texture, and even microscopic flaws created unique versions of what was supposed to be an identical coin. These differences weren't intentional. They were the result of real-world manufacturing conditions, where machines, materials, and human oversight all played a role. Most people would never notice these details. But collectors did. They began categorizing the variations, studying them, comparing them, and slowly identifying which versions were more rare than others. Some coins had sharper details, suggesting they were among the first struck in a production run. Others showed unusual markings or imperfections that made them stand out. A few were found in exceptional condition, preserved almost perfectly as if they had never been used at all. These discoveries turned the coin from a simple collectible into something much more intriguing. The idea that a small, everyday object could hold hidden value captured people's attention. It wasn't just about the coin itself anymore. It was about the possibility of discovery. Anyone could potentially find one. It might be sitting in an old jar, tucked away in a forgotten drawer, or hidden among a pile of loose change. The thrill of that possibility brought new energy into the world of coin collecting. As interest grew, so did the demand. Collectors from different parts of the world began searching for high-quality examples of the 1977 2-cent coin. Auctions started featuring them, online marketplaces saw increased activity, and discussions about rare variations spread through communities dedicated to numismatics. The coin, once ignored, was now being carefully examined under magnification, its smallest details becoming the subject of serious analysis. Condition became one of the most important factors in determining value. A coin that had been heavily used, scratched, or worn down might still hold some interest, but it couldn't compare to a piece that had been preserved in near-perfect condition. Coins with original luster, crisp edges, and untouched surfaces became especially desirable. These were the coins that collectors truly wanted, the ones that represented the closest connection to the moment they were first minted. But rarity added another layer of value. Even among well-preserved coins, certain variations stood out. A slight misalignment during the minting process could create a unique visual effect. A minor defect in the die used to strike the coin could leave behind a distinctive mark. These small differences turned individual coins into one-of-a-kind items, each with its own identity and story. The market began to respond to this growing fascination. Prices started to rise, slowly at first, then more noticeably as competition increased. Collectors were no longer just looking for any example of the coin. They were searching for the best, the rarest, the most unique pieces available. This shift transformed the coin from a historical artifact into an investment opportunity. Stories began to circulate about unexpected discoveries, People who had no prior interest in coins found themselves drawn into the excitement. Someone might stumble upon an old collection inherited from a relative, only to discover that one of the coins inside was far more valuable than they had ever imagined. These stories fueled curiosity and inspired others to take a closer look at the coins they already had. The idea that something so small could hold such significance was both surprising and captivating. Over time, the 1977 2-cent coin became more than just a piece of currency. It became a symbol of hidden potential, a reminder that value isn't always obvious, and that sometimes the most unassuming objects can carry the greatest rewards. It represented the intersection of history, craftsmanship, and chance. Collectors continued to refine their understanding of the coin. Advanced tools and techniques allowed for even more detailed analysis. High-resolution imaging revealed features that were previously impossible to see. Experts debated the significance of certain variations, working to establish clear categories and determine which characteristics truly affected value. This ongoing research added depth to the coin's story, making it even more compelling. At the same time, the global reach of the internet connected collectors like never before. Information spread quickly, and interest expanded beyond regional boundaries. What was once a niche interest became part of a larger, interconnected community. People shared their findings, exchanged ideas, and competed to acquire the most exceptional pieces. The 1977 2-cent coin was no longer just a local curiosity. It had become an international phenomenon, and yet, despite all this attention, the coin itself remained unchanged. It was still the same small piece of metal, still carrying the same design, still representing the same moment in history. The difference was in how people saw it. What had once been overlooked was now appreciated. What had once been ordinary was now extraordinary. This transformation highlights something deeper about value. It shows that worth is not always inherent, but often discovered. It can evolve over time, shaped by perspective, knowledge, and demand. The 1977 2-cent coin didn't change its nature. People changed their understanding of it. They recognized its rarity, its uniqueness, and its story, and in doing so, they gave it new meaning. For collectors, this coin represents more than just a financial asset. It's a connection to the past, a tangible piece of history that can be held, examined, and appreciated. It's a reminder of how everyday objects can carry hidden significance, waiting to be uncovered by those willing to look closely. It's also a testament to the power of curiosity, showing how a simple question, "What makes this coin different?" can lead to a journey of discovery. Even today, the search continues. New examples are still being found, new variations are still being identified, and the story of the 1977 2-cent coin is still being written. Each discovery adds another layer to its history, another reason for collectors to stay engaged and curious. The coin's journey from obscurity to prominence is far from over, and perhaps the most exciting part is that the next discovery could come from anywhere. It could be in a place you least expect, hidden among items that have been overlooked for years. It could be something you already own, something you've seen countless times without realizing its significance. All it takes is a closer look, a bit of knowledge, and a willingness to explore, because sometimes, the smallest things hold the greatest surprises. What was once a simple coin, used without thought in everyday life, has become a symbol of rarity, curiosity, and unexpected value. It reminds us that history is all around us, often hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone to recognize it. And if you're lucky enough to find one of these rare and exceptional pieces, preserved in remarkable condition with those subtle, unique characteristics that set it apart, you might not just be holding a piece of the past, you could be holding a fortune worth $44.888 million.